Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the launch of our latest book, Extraordinary Wealth. It's a book we're all very, very proud of. I want to thank my contributors, Adam Schlossberg and Ben Bush and Mike Millman and Sepra Aragi and Chris Viola. I think they all worked very hard on this book, and we're going to hope that you guys enjoy it. But just want to spend a few minutes talking to you about why we wrote it and maybe a little bit about the book. But this book is for people that are entrepreneurs or have an entrepreneurial mindset. And one of the challenges that I've had as a key business strategist and critical thinker and financial advisor for the last 34 years, is that very few people out there are creating real wealth. And almost nobody's creating multi-generational wealth. And we wanted to change that. And that's what we've sort of built this book around. This is what we built our firm around. This is how we've tried to differentiate ourselves, tell people have the life they want now, keep it that way forever, and never run out of money. One of the principles we talk about is we want people to get paid for what they know, not what they do. We want them to be entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs. And we want to unleash their creative spirit and not only create the wealth they want, but have the enjoyment and the satisfaction they want from their job. And so one of the things that I've said probably for more than 30 years, I think I've said it in every presentation I've ever given, is we've said the following. Money markets, CDs, IRAs, 401ks, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, blah, blah, blah. Most of our clients have some of those assets. Most of our clients will have some or all of those assets all of their life. But at best, they're inflation-adjusted holding tanks. If Bill Gates was on this podcast with us or this webinar today, he wouldn't say I'm worth $90 billion because of my 401k or my mutual funds. There's really only three ways to create wealth. And that's either investing in your business or some other operating company. It's investing in real estate, or it's financing deals. I'll leave out divorce and inheritance. Those are the other ways to get that done. And so the idea to me is that if you only have $1 to invest, and only $1, the first place I would encourage people to invest is invest it themselves. So if you own a business, let's take a look at investing that $1 in your business. But let's say you have an entrepreneurial mindset and you don't own your own business. How can we help you invest that $1 either in your education or in technology or in techniques or in skill sets to not only help you with the job you have, but to help you get ready for the next job and the next opportunity that you'll have so that you can create the wealth you want for yourself and for your family. And so I think that's the genesis of the entire book. That's what we've tried to focus our energy and time on, of all the strategies to do it. And again, hope you're going to enjoy it. The other thing we like to talk about as well is if you walk down the street, you see everybody on their cell phone. I don't care if you're 12 years old or if you're 112 years old, people on their cell phone. And the entire world is out there trying to be the most interesting. They're trying to get your attention to go buy their app or read their article or to get you the consumer's attention. And so the idea that what we're seeing the very best people and the very best firms winning by not playing in the lane that everybody else is in, being the most interesting. I'd like to think we're interesting, and I'd like to think we play in that lane with everybody else. But the lane that is clear that nobody's focusing on is, can you be the most interested? Can you be the most interested in your clients or your patients or the people that do business with you? We think that as long as all the people that we work with are people, and as long as all the clients that we work with are people, that we're really not in the financial services business, we're really in the people business. And that's what we teach to our clients and our friends as well, is that you're really not in the business you're in. You're, for the most part, if the clients or the patients are people, you're really in the people business. And I think that that's an art that's being lost. I think that's an art that differentiates the good firms from the great firms. That people just really caring about each other. In our world, we call it loving them up. We want to create. I love that expression where people say we want to create a wow experience. I know our firm has a lot of young, hip people, so we can't use the word wow experience anymore. We have to just use experience because we're way too cool for that. But the idea is that I see in the marketplace and I see with our clients, I see the firms that are the most interested, not the most interesting, seeming to win the game. And the other thing I would encourage you as an entrepreneur or as an entrepreneurial thinking person is that I don't know if we want to use the word invaluable or we want to use the word champion or we want to use the word hero. But we know, one thing we know is that in whatever industry you're in, it's easy to get paid if you can create more value than anybody else. The people that create more value will have people running into their doors to go do business with them. And so the word, for lack of a better word, and Dan Sullivan, sort of the architect of it, but the idea is we want to teach our folks, and we want to teach our clients to be heroes every day. And by that I don't mean running into a burning building and trying to save a baby, because even if you don't save the baby, there's a loss or a loss of some time. I'm not talking about that sort of dramatic kind of hero that you might see in the movies. I'm talking about you know waking up every day and trying to figure out how can you build a better future for the people you're doing business with. If you can help your clients and your customers create a bigger, better future for themselves, that's probably one of the easiest ways and the best ways to get paid. I also think that one of the things I also love, and again another Dan Sullivan quote, is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Is he talks about one of the things that I think entrepreneurs do is they understand that the best way to grow their business or the best way to grow their opportunities in their life is not by being selfish or doing things for themselves, but it's by trying to help raise up and help to make other people become more successful. And one of the great lines that Dan has, and this is a Dan quote, which I love, where he says, what we do for a living is we find the unique value in people so powerfully that they see it in themselves. And if you can help other people do that, it's a game changer, not only for your business, but it just changes the relationships that you have and the purpose you have in life. I remember Ren, the 15th century philosopher. He used to talk about stone cutters in the 15th century, and I think it's so apropos in the 21st century to any kind of business, including your own. And he used to say there's a group of stone cutters out there who cut stone because that's how they feed their family. And I think in all businesses, that's true. That is certainly true. There's a bunch of people out there that are just, making a living out there, and they go to work to make a living to feed their family. And then Ren also said there's another group of stone cutters who cut stone because they're very talented and artistic at it. And we know people in every industry that do it because they're the great artists. They're very, very talented, very good at what they do. But again, what I'm seeing is that the best businesses and the best people, what they're doing is they're not feeding their family, or they're not doing things because they're talented or artistic in it. They think there's another group of stone cutters out there who think they are building a temple for God. And I think that's what we want to do every day. That's what we see the best businesses doing every day, and that's what we encourage you to do. One of the things we also talk about in the book, and again, inspired by Tom Hegna and Curtis Cloak and many, many others, but as we've put together over the last 34 years in our business, we also spend a lot of time telling people there's really only two asset classes. And I think, I think anybody out there who's a wealth manager would tell you there's dozens and dozens of asset classes, and I would agree. But we think there's only two asset classes. And we like to refer to them as paychecks, or we like to refer to them as free capital or playchecks. And so the idea is what we teach our clients to do is to set up a series of assets that will give them either a guaranteed or a highly reliable stream of income to replace their income after they are no longer working, to replace that income when they're working, and we'll call those paychecks. And then we think there should be another group of assets that we can spend, we can save, we can give away. It could be about a life of significance. It could be many, many things. But the important thing is that free capital or paychecks will not be responsible for producing income for your family. If you can have both the paychecks and playchecks, we know that gives you financial freedom. But there's still one more level. And one of the things we talk to our clients about is, can we develop streams of earned income so that even if you're no longer working full-time or even at all in your business daytime, at all, can you have earned income from your company beyond your normal retirement age? So that in a perfect world, if you're producing enough income from your business because of the profitability of your business, that allows you, when all of your friends are draining their assets in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, and we hope in the 90s and beyond, you're not touching your critical mass. In fact, many of our best clients just continue to grow their critical mass. They're net savers in their 60s and 70s and 80s when everybody else is worried about going to early bird specials and running out of money and wanting if they're going to live too long. We teach our clients how to create multi-generational wealth that way. And so the idea to me is a combination of those strategies and many, many more are the ways that the very best people in this country create multi-generational wealth and create the kind of lives and excitement that they want in their life. We also think, by the way, I just had a question that came up. Somebody just popped up a question. They said, how much money should I be saving? And one of the things, if you got me in a cocktail party, I would probably say to you, and I realize that everybody's different. I don't know what your mortgages are. I don't know how many kids you have in college. I don't know what your expenses are. But we sort of have as a baseline that we think that everybody should be trying to save 15% of their gross income or more. I think that's something that we encourage, and we encourage people to do, and that's a minimum. 20 or 25 or 30 might even be even better. We also encourage people that it's not sexy and it's not fun. We also encourage people to live within their means. We believe in protection first, and that's protection from death and disability. It's also lawsuit creditors, and protecting and putting a moat around your castle and around your wealth. One of the things I also find that prevents people from getting and creating wealth is they don't avoid bad debt. They're paying Visa way too much. They have student loans that are at 7 or 8 or 9% non-deductible. They've got Visa and MasterCard bills at 16, 18, 22% non-deductible. But at the same time, we encourage people to use low-cost tax-deductible wealth and debt as a way to use the system and to leverage their wealth when appropriate. One of the things I think that we do better than most, or probably what I think one of our number one jobs is to make sure that emotion never trumps logic. I find for myself when I'm making logical decisions, they're usually the best decisions. But when I'm making emotional decisions, those are usually the wrong decision. And so the idea, if that's right for us, we think it's right for the people that we work with. We also think that the institutions, the universities, the endowments, the pension funds we work with, before they'll manage and invest $1 with us or anybody else, they create an investment policy statement about how that pension fund will manage their money. If it's good enough for them, should we have an investment policy statement for your family? We also think that, we also know that most people spend more time planning a family vacation than they do working on their personal finances. So one of the things we also encourage you to do is we encourage you to hire yourself as your own CFO. Every corporation in America has a CFO. CFO is a chief financial officer. We encourage you to do the same for yourself. Another question coming in where people are talking about saving, and it always comes to me around saving. But to me, there's only really three things you can do with your money. You can save it, you can pay your bills, and then you can spend it. If you do it in any other order, I don't care how little you make or how much you make, there's never any money to save. That money gets spent somewhere. It gets spent in my budget. I'm sure it gets spent in your budget. You've got to figure out a way to save and pay yourself first. We encourage our clients to reach their full financial potential. But we also understand that little changes over a long period of time can have big results. So, I said earlier, I was saying to you that we encourage our clients to save 15% or more of their gross income. Well, that may not be possible. But that doesn't mean if you can't do 15, you should do 0. Could we do 10? Could we do 7? Could we do 5%? Maybe even 3%? But if we do anything on a sustained basis, it's amazing over the long term that even little changes can make big results. We also have a wellness platform called the Living Balance Sheet, where we can actually measure and monitor things. I think you have to have a scoreboard when you play the game. I think when you play the game of money or you play the game of life, you have to have a scoreboard, and it can't be anecdotal. It has to be scientific so you can actually measure it. In fact, stealing from my friends at Fortune Management and Bernie Stoltz, I've heard him say many times, the more you measure it, the better it gets. So we think that the more you measure it, the better it gets. We want to have a scoreboard to help you do that. Oh, one more question. How much liquidity should I have? I just saw one more question come in. That is one of my great pet peeves. Even for some clients that we have that are very wealthy, and you'll see a balance sheet where they'll have a company that's worth a lot of money, and they'll have a lot of real estate, and they'll have a lot of money in retirement or qualified plans, and they'll say this person is a very affluent person. But all of that money is illiquid, or most of it's illiquid, or tough to make liquid. the best people and the people that create the most wealth out there, I think that our strategy should be, some financial advisors give you different numbers. You should have 6 months or 3 months or 12 months of liquidity. We want you to have the most liquidity possible. And the reason why is that if you have trouble or you have a downturn in your business or something that happens unfortunately in your life, the idea is you can make good, strong, long-term decisions if there's a problem by having liquidity. It's not having you make tough decisions or wrong, quick decisions because you need cash quickly. So during emergencies, having liquidity allows you to withstand the storm, so to speak. But also, having liquidity is the best investments I've ever made is when I had cash and somebody else needed cash. So the opportunity when you have cash and you have liquidity, all of a sudden opportunities come out of the woodwork that give you the opportunity to acquire things and to buy things and to do things that you never would have had you not had the liquidity. So I think one of the biggest mistakes we think entrepreneurs make is not having enough liquidity. So we sort of don't kind of aspire to what sort of financial planners or those sort of folks say that say you ought to have 3 months or 6 months or a year worth of liquidity. We want you to have the most liquidity possible because liquidity and putting capital in the hands of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial thinking people is the way they create maximum wealth. Um, as I said, I'm very passionate about this topic. I just want to thank my team again for helping us put together a book we're very proud of. We and as I said, if there's any questions, I saw a couple of other questions pop up, and if I didn't get a chance to answer the question that you sent in, just please text me, please call me, please email me. I'm happy to answer any question you have. If you'd like a copy of the book for yourself or for any of your friends or family, please call us. You can get them on Amazon, or I'm happy to send you one if you like. But just thank you, and I just say, with every decision I make, it's to make a difference, for our clients, for our team, and for our community. And I just feel so grateful and so honored to have so many friends like you out there, and so many folks that believe in us and trust us, and have given us an opportunity to create not only a hopefully a great life for you, but a great life for us by helping you. And thank you. Thank you from